Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. In today's video, we are going to take a look at getting started with the Tomb Kings in Warhammer The Old World, using the brand new Tomb Kings Army box set. In this video, we will look at what comes inside the box, what units inside it do on the tabletop, and what options they have to be built with from the kit. From there, we'll look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial purchase and build us a full 2000 point army list for Warhammer The Old World. The initial box set comes with a sample army list of 1250 points that we'll use as a base for building on with our own additions to make this final 2000 point army. And with that all said, let's get looking at exactly what is inside the box. And so, to begin with, what exactly is inside the box? First of all, this contains 93 multi-part plastic Citadel miniatures. Now, you are going to get a mix of some brand new kits, like the Lich Priest on Necrolith Bone Dragons, and a bunch of the older fantasy kits, which make up the majority of the set. Now, you also do contain the rulebook. You'll get a full big rulebook, as well as a nice little Khemri edition construction guide and the introductory army list, 1250 points, that will be basing sort of the list to be built up from. We then also get a reference sheet, some dice, red measuring sticks, good old wacky sticks, and some plastic weapon templates for use in your games as well. First of all, leading the box set, we have a Lich Priest mounted atop a giant Necrolith Bone Dragon. Lich Priests come in two varieties of either the Lesser Mortuary Priest or the Mighty High Priest. Only High Priest can be mounted atop the Bone Dragon, so that is what we'll be talking about in this video. High Priests are a level 3 wizard that can be upgraded to level 4 wizards. On top of their magic as well, they can also regenerate nearby units thanks to the Arise ability that they have. It is also very likely this model will be the army's Hierophant, which is a model responsible for maintaining the strength of your undead host, and should it be destroyed, they'll begin to crumble to dust. The Bone Dragon itself is a monster mount that grants your character an extra point of toughness and 5 additional wounds. Its Cloud of Dust rule makes it harder to hit when shooting attacks are targeting it, and it also has a magical ranged attack called the Breath of Desolation, which has the multiple wounds 2 rule. Next, we have our Monarch of Nekahara. Either a prince or king, these are your more martial hero. They can give out various buffs to the unit they've joined, such as extra movement, weapon skill, or initiative. This model can also be mounted in a variety of different ways, and a confident hobbyist even could choose to swap out the Lich Priest on top of our Bone Dragon and put our Tomb Monarch there instead. Joining this, we now begin to look at some of the infantry. 40 skeleton warriors are the core of our infantry within the box set. Cheap infantry that comes standard with hand weapons and shields, but also have access to thrusting spears and light armor as well. They can choose to upgrade themselves with the Nekaharan Phalanx special rule, which allows them, when using shields, to not give up ground should they lose a round of combat. Great for keeping your enemies in place to countercharge them. These are backed up by 32 skeleton archers who have the arrows of the Asp special rule, which means they ignore any modifiers to their hit rolls when shooting, regardless of the source. Though with Ballistic Shield 2, this does mean you'll always be hitting on 5s or 4s with the champion. Moving on to our cavalry, we have 16 models here which can be built as either skeleton horsemen or skeleton horse archers. Skeleton horsemen are a heavy cavalry option that comes equipped with hand weapons and shields, but can be upgraded with cavalry spears and light armor. The Vanguard special rule is particularly nice on a combat focused cavalry unit, as is the Swift Stride ability. Skeleton horse archers, meanwhile, are a slightly less sort of powerful cavalry unit, but they are hyper mobile, great for harassing the enemy's flanks. Like the skeleton horsemen, they have Swift Stride, but instead of Vanguard, they gain the Scout special rule, which allows them to deploy deeper into the battlefield, and the reserve move ability as well is a very useful tool for keeping this unit safe from counter attacks. Lastly, in this box set, and perhaps the most iconic Tomb King unit we get in this set, we have skeleton chariots. Light chariots that come in units of 3 or more, like all chariots that do impact hits when they charge, but also having Swift Stride, Open Order, and the reserve move special rule means they're incredibly flexible in the movement they can do on the battlefield. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. The first thing I recommend to grab next is another character called the Royal Herald, which can be upgraded to be your army's battle standard bearer. This model swaps out the normal hold your ground special rule and instead helps you keep your skeletal warriors from crumbling around them. The Sworn Protector rule as well allows this model to take hits that were otherwise meant for a Monarch of Nekahara that is within 3 inches of them. After this, a unit fixed for your king is next. Tomb Guard, hand weapons and shields standard are their loadout, but they can also be upgraded to have halberds. Cleaving Blow is a Tomb King special rule that they get which allows them to ignore enemy infantry's armor and regeneration saves, sort of a lesser version of Killing Blow, but they can also take the Nekaharan Phalanx special rule should they wish similar sort of benefits to the Skeleton Warriors. Next we have Ushabti, one of my favourite units, and provide you with a real hammer in your army. They have mighty ritual blades that give them a total of 3 strength 6 attacks with an armor penetration of -3. They can also choose to swap out these ritual blades if you want, diminishing their combat power quite significantly, but instead taking up the giant great bows, which can cut down even the toughest enemy monsters and units. Lastly, I just couldn't talk about Tomb Kings without mentioning one of the coolest models in the entire range, and that is the Necrosphinx. An absolutely stunning miniature, this mighty monster has a toughness of 6 and 6 wounds as well. The model's basic attacks are its Cleaving Blade, and they have Killing Blow in addition to a 1-use attack it gets on top of any other attacks, which can be Strength 10, and this is its Decapitating Strike profile. Now it can also be upgraded to have an Envenom Sting as well, which can allow it once per combat to make 1 attack with the Poison special rule. And so, to begin with for our army, leading it is our Tomb King. This model has light armor and a shield, and it's carrying the Flail of Skulls magical weapon. This will give the model +3 strength on its base attack profile, -1 armor penetration, and the multiple wounds 2 special rule, along with obviously the magical attack special rule for carrying a magical weapon. We then have our High Lich Priest next, who is mounted atop the giant Necrolith Bone Dragon. The model is upgraded to a level 4 wizard and has the Hieratic Jar arcane item, which allows the model once per game to use its Arise ability twice in the same turn. Our last hero is a Royal Herald, which has been upgraded to our Battle Standard Bearer, and the model is also carrying a shield, a really nice coterie of heroes here to lead our force. Now moving on to our infantry, the first lot are 2 units of 20 skeleton warriors who are both similarly equipped. With these, both have thrusting spears and a full command. Joining these 2 units of skeleton warriors are 2 units of 16 skeleton archers. Both of them just have a single upgrade in the unit, with that being the champion upgrade. Our last infantry unit is a unit of 20 Tomb Guard who have a full command and also have a magical banner, the Icon of Rakaf. This is really fun, as unless they're making a charge move, anytime during their movement they can make a free reform, really allowing us to get this unit, which is going to contain both our Royal Herald and our Tomb King, to get into the combats it wants to. This is going to be one of our big damage dealers in the army, and we really want them to be able to get where they need to be. Now we also have a singular monstrous infantry unit in the army as well, and this is a unit of 3 Ushabti who have remained taking their blades, and they also have the champion upgrade as well. Moving into cavalry, we have a unit of 8 skeleton horsemen. These have cavalry spears and light armor, and also have a full command. They are joined by a unit of 8 skeleton horse archers who just have the champion upgrade. Lastly, for our cavalry options, we have a unit of 3 skeleton chariots. There is a full command here with the War Banner magic item as well for a magical banner. This allows you to add an additional +1 combat resolution on top of the +1 combat resolution you get from having a banner anyway. So essentially your banner adds +2 rather than +1. Our last unit in the force is the mighty Necrosphinx, and this is going to have its only upgrade it can take, which is the Envenom Tail, which can come in useful if you need it to get through. All in all, that is our Tomb King's force.